Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
You are about to be entertained by the ape, the young man who has become a legend in his own time. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. The Ron Kelly Show.
Oh boy, welcome everybody. It's the Ron Kelly Show, and it's on blogtalkradio.com and ronkellyshow.com. But I forgot to turn the TV off. Anyway, man, I love that line. That they haven't tried to come after me yet, but that line is from A Few Good Men when Tom Cruise was interviewing the great Jack Nicholson, and oh Lord Jesus. Yes, I had to get up out of my chair. Anyway, that piece is from A Few Good Men when Jack Nicholson was being interviewed or being whatever you want to call it by Tom Cruise in A Few Good Men. You can't handle the truth. I love that piece. And a lot of people out here can't handle the truth. But anyway, it's the Ron Kelly Show, everybody, and it's on blogtalkradio.com and ronkellyshow.com. Welcome. You can always catch me on Thursday evenings, Ron Kelly Show on Facebook. And of course, the Ron Kelly Show is live on YouTube. My YouTube channel, the Ron Kelly Show YouTube channel. Just in case you get tired of Facebook, you can always go on YouTube. You can check me out there. Oh, boy. Okay, so glad to have you all in. And I know it's cold. Everybody's all, it's cold. But you know what? It's cold for people out there who don't have no place to live. So we talk about, if you move over to the other, my YouTube screen. Yeah, it's cold. Yeah, we all know it's cold. Everybody's crying. It's cold, but it's cold if you even cold if you didn't have no place to live. So imagine, what it's like for people who don't have any place to live. So they don't have the issue of walking from their car to the house. They don't have that issue walking from the car to the house. Oh God, it's so cold. And you get poo. You got to walk from your house to the car. Or big deal, you got to wait for your car to warm up. There's people out here who don't have no place to live. I get it that it's cold and everything. And, it's incidentally in Chicago, for example, where it's 1 degree, they're telling people not to breathe. Don't breathe, because if you breathe, the cold air can freeze your lungs and maybe not kill you, but if you stay out there long enough, it will. But the cold air will freeze your lungs and prevent you from breathing or give you trouble breathing. So yeah, it's cold. It's cold. But y'all remember 1996, I think it is, for the folks who are for my national audience who don't know anything about New Jersey. 1996, late 1995, 1996, it was a snowstorm. Now you want to talk about being cold. There was a snowstorm. I mean, I had a lot to get to. Welcome, everybody. Glad to have you all in on Blog Talk Radio and Facebook Live and the YouTube channel as well. So shout out to Michael Mazak. So remember 1996, Paterson, New Jersey. Or New Jersey, for example. 1996, New Jersey. And there was a snowstorm that just shut everything down. I mean, we've been lucky. I mean, yeah, it's cold. It's cold. But we've been lucky we haven't had any major snowstorms. See, because in 1996, I just came to move to Paterson, New Jersey. Don't ask me why. Shout out to the people out there who watch the show who live in Paterson. Anyway, so I moved to Paterson, New Jersey, and I was here for a couple months. And I'm not sure if it was December or January of 1990, late 1995, early 1996. There was a snowstorm, and it was tremendous. It was the biggest snowstorm I've ever seen in my life. And I've been around for a couple of minutes. So anyway, it was, I believe it was, some of you remember, late 1995, early 1996, there was a tremendous snowstorm. It must have been about 3 feet of snow on the ground. It was like Buffalo snow. It was like Minneapolis snow, what we had. And it was a lot of snow on the ground, and there was a big snow, and it stopped everything. There was no public transportation, no cars could move. Everything was finished. There was nothing moving that had a motor in it. And so we've been pretty fortunate this winter to, yeah, it's cold outside. Yeah, it's cold. Poo, 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 poo. Yeah, it's cold, but it's supposed to be cold. And then it's a little bit colder than normal. Okay. But, you got a place to live. Thank you. Stop crying. Just count your blessings. You got a car to get into, to get around. A lot of you who are watching on Facebook. You're probably home right now with the heat on, nice and comfortable. You got a car outside if you decide you want to go somewhere. Stop crying. Yeah, it's cold. Yeah, it's supposed to be cold. It's supposed to be cold. But that snowstorm in 1996 was horrible. It was the worst snowstorm I've ever seen living here in the state of New Jersey most of my life, unfortunately. But, yeah, so shout out to my YouTube channel, my people on YouTube. Shout out to y'all, the ones who people who have watched the video of the Ron Kelly Show and those who watch the Ron Kelly Show live on over here to your left, my right, the other screen that's recording the show. As a matter of fact, it's live on the YouTube channel. So welcome, everybody. Welcome on in. Thanks so much for joining me this evening. You know what time it is. It's the Ron Kelly Show. As you see, my name is all over the place. It's the Ron Kelly Show on his own blogtalkradio.com, the Ron Kelly Show, .com. So, yeah, feel bad for the Markel. There was a fire. For the national audience, I don't know if you've heard about this. New Jersey was a fire. The Markel Paper Company, one of the older, toilet paper, paper towels, et cetera, burned down yesterday. And people were saying that the heat was so intense that they can feel it as they were driving past. It is about 1,000 yards between that factory and Route 280 West. People said they can feel it in their cars as they were driving by, so it must be pretty intense. But feel bad for the people who burned out. On people who got burned out. There's 500 employees or so who they're saying don't have jobs now. But Governor Murphy, Phil Murphy, the brand new governor of the state of New Jersey, says that they're going to do something for these folks. They will try to help them out somehow or another. All right, everybody, it's a couple minutes past the hour. You know what time it is. It's the Ron Kelly Show. It's about 10 minutes past the hour. It's the Ron Kelly Show. It's on blogtalkradio.com, the RonKellyShow.com. Just getting into this. Got Super Bowl coming up. I won't be on the air until after it's over. We got the Super Bowl coming up. I know a lot of you have, and this is a sports show. I'm not going to dwell on it, but Super Bowl coming up. I'm not even sure where I'm going to watch the game at, but I'm going to watch it somewhere. Go Rams. That's all I'll say. Anyway, so Jussie Smollett Jussie Smollett from the Empire show with Taraji P. Henson and Terrence Howard and so many other folks and stars who have been on there. So many other folks who've been on that show. And so so Jussie Smollett claims to have been beaten by a couple of white folks with MAGA hats, Make America Great Again, the hated red, by the left anyway, the hated red caps. And he claims that they put something around his neck. They put a rope around his neck and called him the N-word and the gay word and all that type of stuff. And I'm just not convinced yet. I'll put it like that. I'm not convinced yet. See, a lot of us fall for drink the Kool-Aid right away. Don't even take a sip. You know how you take a sip of the Kool-Aid, make sure it's got sugar in it? A lot of us just down it without even tasting it. And a lot of folks have downed the Jussie Smollett Kool-Aid with this incident, supposedly, allegedly, that happened in Chicago. And it just sounds, as a journalist, and I'm a journalist because I went to school for it. And, when you read, you can't believe everything you read. And some of y'all, just everything, Terry Price in particular, some of y'all just post the most outrageous, nonsensical nonsense ever heard on Facebook. You just believe everything. And Terry Price, I like him. He's cool with me, but he's just, he's one of the people who I can see on Facebook anyway. There's a billion people on there. I can't see all of them. And just believes everything. Just believes everything. Just some people just believe everything. I see, as a journalist, if I see if it's really outrageous and ridiculous, it's probably not true. You know what I mean? If it's outrageous, if it's crazy and deranged, it's probably not true. So if I see something, the first thing I do is I look to see where it came from. And if it came from worldstarhiphop.com, I don't believe it. If it comes from some crazy sounding website, I don't believe it. See, because there's people out here with these crazy websites. They post the most outrageous nonsense because you can make money off a website if you get enough clicks on it. If you get enough clicks on your website, people will advertise on your website because they figure you have a lot of traffic going through your website. So people will pay money to go on your website. And people will pay money. Yeah, people will pay money to advertise on your website because you have a lot of traffic. So it's the most outrageous nonsense. What better way to get traffic on your website as opposed to most outrageous nonsense? And that's what people do. They post the most outrageous, nonsensical garbage, and people fall for it and they click on it and they go right to it. They fall for it. So for the national audience, the phone number is 646-668-2838. That's 646-668-2838. I don't give out the phone number that much. I mean, it's not that I don't want to talk to anybody. It's just that I don't really give out the number that often. But it's 646-668-2838. You want to call in and curse me out. So the Jussie Smollett, it just, I may take a break before I really get into it. But it just seems so contrived. It's not it just seems so it just has all the elements. It has all the elements because you got the MAGA hat. And Chicago is a Democratic stronghold. Why would somebody be walking around in Chicago with a MAGA hat? Why would somebody be walking around in Chicago? Shout out to Bunny McKnight. Why would somebody be running around in Chicago with a Make America Great Again hat? Chicago is not the Republicans. You couldn't find a Republican within 100 miles of Chicago. So that's the first thing, the MAGA hat. And then you got the noose. Why'd they put a noose around his neck? They put a noose around his neck. Why did they choke him? Or choke him out or something? I'm not suggesting that they should have, but they didn't choke him out. So we got the MAGA hat. You got the noose. And see, the MAGA hat and the noose has become a symbol of racism in America. Because everybody thinks that Donald Trump is a racist. I think he's a separatist. I'm not sure about him being a racist, but I'm 100% sure he's a separatist. See, everybody's not, everybody's not racist. Some people just don't want to live around you. So it's not just that they're racist. They just don't want to live around certain people. And I don't want to live around certain people. So that make me a racist? No. But anyway, so getting back to Jussie Smollett, when I first heard it, it just didn't sound right. It just didn't sound right because you got the MAGA hat, you got the noose. The MAGA hat is a symbol of racism, or has become a symbol of racism. The noose is a symbol of racism. Then you have the gay slurs that are, it's all. These are all the things that a radical Republican would do. The MAGA hat, you have the noose, which is a total symbol of racism, and then you have the, and then you have the LGBTQ slurs to the LGBTQ community. So it just doesn't. Well, Subway is open at 2:00 in the morning. I mean, there's so many things here that just don't sound right to me. There's so many things here that just don't sound right to me. I know that people are gonna be like, Ron, I'm already hearing it on Twitter, but and on my Google Mail, the Ron Kelly Show at gmail.com. Yeah, so I'm already hearing it, but it just doesn't sound right. It just doesn't sound right to me with this Jussie Smollett. If anybody has any comment on it, you can post it in the Facebook feed, or you can post it on the Ron Kelly Show Facebook page, or you can make a comment. I'll post it on my chat during the break. I'll post it on my YouTube chat, or the YouTube chat section on my live broadcast on the YouTube channel, the Ron Kelly Show YouTube channel. Okay. All right, so we take a break. A lot of time is flying past. We'll take a quick break, come right back with more of this program. It's the Ron Kelly Show, and it's on blogtalkradio.com and RonKellyShow.com.
We'll be back with more of the Ron Kelly Show after this.
So glad we left that stupid party. No joke. Hey, baby, are you an overdue library book? Because you got fine written all over you. Oh, Barb, what about that girl with the hoop earring? Ridiculous. When she was dancing, look out, look out! Oh my God, Becky. Becky, are you okay? My arm. I think it's broken. Can you bend it? It's already bent in the wrong direction. I can't believe this. I'm so sorry. I only had a few drinks. I was just buzzed. Really? Just buzzed? Yeah, I swear. Well, in that case, my arm is fine. Ah, that's better. You really okay? You're serious, Becky? No, genius. I'm not serious. Ow! My arm, it hurts.
Buzzed driving. Maybe we should stop acting like it's no big deal. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, the Ad Council, and this station.
The views expressed in this commentary are not necessarily those of the Ron Kelly Show or R. Kelly Media LLC. The Ron Kelly Show. And on the web, theronkellyshow.com.
All right, thank you so much, everybody, for joining me. It's Ron Kelly Show, and it's on blogtalkradio.com, RonKellyShow.com. And thanks so much, Al Shaw, AC Voiceovers. So that's not my voice. My voice is, I'm okay. My voice is all right, but it's not as good as Al Shaw. Al Shaw, AC Voiceovers. You can get with him. As a matter of fact, you can hook up with him on his page on Facebook. Al Shaw, AC Voiceovers, in case you need some, the man got some serious pipes. Puts me to shame, and I'm not doing too bad. But Al Shaw, AC Voiceovers, if you need some help voicing, some voice work, you need some help, you need a voice for your production, Al Shaw, AC Voiceovers on Facebook. All right, everybody, it's about 20 minutes past the hour. You're listening to The Ron Kelly Show. It's on blogtalkradio.com, theronkellyshow.com. So I'm not the only one who thinks that there's something wrong with my Facebook feed. There's always something wrong. But so I don't really believe. I don't necessarily believe the Jussie Smollett nonsense. I I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that. Later on, I'll talk about, I missed the subject last week that I meant to talk about, and I'll get to it. The Jussie Smollett thing, I'm just not convinced that anything happened to him. It's just, again, it seems too contrived because you got the MAGA hats, you got the MAGA hat, you got the news, all symbols of racism, you got the LGBTQ component in there, which is something that the radical right, Trump had a ban against transgender people serving on the front lines in the United States of America. So that the MAGA hat, the news, and these are three things that are indigenous to Trump supporters, radical Republicans, white folks who don't necessarily like us. So I'm just not. It's just, I don't know. If you got an opinion, tell me. You can post it on my feed. You can post it on the feed, the Ron Kelly Show, or Ron Kelly. You can post it on my feed on Facebook, or you can put it on the chat on the Ron Kelly Show YouTube channel if you would like. Okay, the chat is up, so if you want to post something there, you can post it. All right. So it's 20-something minutes past the hour listening to the Ron Kelly Show. 23 minutes past the hour. Listen to the Ron Kelly Show, and it's on blogtalkradio.com, theronkellyshow.com. Yeah, it does sound fishy. Shout out to Buddy McKnight. It says that it sounds fishy. Yes, it does sound fishy. But see, there's a lot of folks who are going to drink the Kool-Aid. They're going to swallow it down. They're not going to taste it, make sure there's no sugar in it. They're going to swallow their Kool-Aid down. Go, 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 go. And because they've already have. And people have come out. People on that show, Taraji P. Henson, there's some folks have already come out and say, oh, it's reprehensible, oh, it's this, oh, it's that. See, now you're going to have to eat that when it quite possibly could come out that there was no assault. That maybe he was, well, I don't want to say because I don't want to get sued, even though I do have liability insurance for my show, but I don't want to get sued. So he might win more than I am. Anyway, so we're looking to see what's going to happen with that. I don't think it's not. I'm not going to come out and just say it did not happen, but it definitely sounds fishy. It does sound very, very fishy. All right, let me segue to this. So the shutdown is over, well, so to speak. The shutdown is over. I mean, the government workers have gotten a reprieve that the shutdown will be over for. Let me sit in the middle of the screen. The shutdown will be over until around Valentine's Day. What the hell? It's going to be one heck of a Valentine's Day present to have your paycheck stopped again. And Trump's Commerce Secretary, Wilbur Ross, and what an idiot, the Secretary of Commerce, Wilbur Ross, who's probably a billionaire or close to it, came out and said he didn't understand why folks had to go to, shelters and why folks had to go to food kitchens. What I'm talking about is the government workers. So he says he didn't understand. This is how out of touch this clown is. So he says that he didn't understand that why the government workers who had a couple paychecks held up, and they get paid every 2 weeks, by the way. So you try going a month without a paycheck. So he says he didn't understand why people had to go to food kitchens and borrow money from folks and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He didn't understand that. You see, there's a lot of people out here who are living from paycheck to paycheck. Who do they think the government workers make? They don't make a whole lot of money. And it's very difficult in this day and age, especially here in the United States of America. It's very difficult to save money for a rainy day. It's hard because it rains every day in some cases, or it rains every other day. There's always something going on. A car breaks down, it's always something. It's always something. So, I think it was so idiotic for him to say that he doesn't see why people, the folks who were affected by the government shutdown, he doesn't see why they have to go to food kitchens, and why can't they just borrow the money? But they don't have wealthy friends like you, idiot. And it's very difficult to save money. I mean, me myself, it's hard. It's hard. It's very difficult. Unless you have 401k or something like that. If you're locked into a pension, you can't borrow against that. Now, if you have a 401k, you can borrow against that. But the government has a pension system. The government doesn't have a 401k system. And a lot of jobs, especially the union ones, have pension systems. You can't borrow against that. I mean, some of the more progressive companies have 401k. You can borrow from that. But many of these places don't have 401k. So, I mean, so it's difficult because it costs a lot of money to live in this country here, and it's hard, especially when you got a family, you got a wife, you got a couple kids, you have a home, you got a mortgage, and, a couple of vehicles, maybe one vehicle, maybe two, it's difficult. So I don't know what this idiot was talking about because it's not easy to save. Now, I think on the average, they say you should save like 6 months worth of income, six months worth of bills. You know how hard that is? A half a year's salary. You know how hard that is to save 6 months of bills? You know how hard that is? It's crazy to save 6 months. I'm looking to my right or to my left if you're looking at the screen, because I'm also looking at the monitor on the YouTube, Ron Kelly Show YouTube channel, and I have to turn to that and acknowledge the folks who are over there every now and again. But so they have 3 months to 6 months of bills. You know how hard that is? That's very, very difficult. So that was very stupid of him to go out and say something dumb like that. That was stupid because it's very hard to save money. In this day and age, you got a family, and again, these pop-up incidents where things happen, you come home and the pipes are broken, I've owned property, I've owned houses, and I've seen how, you come home and boom, something happens. There goes your savings because you got to fix whatever it was that's broken. So just another stupid Trump comment. So I think Nancy Pelosi has won the first round of the new thriller in Manila, Nancy Pelosi versus Donald Trump. And I think Nancy Pelosi has scored a knockdown. She has scored a knockdown in this brawl between her and President of the United States, Donald Trump, because the president relented and turned the government back on. And, you have these radical Republicans, radical right, like Ann Coulter, for example. If you don't know her, Google her name. She's nobody, but she wants to be somebody. Anyway, so she's angry with Trump because Trump put the 800,000 federal workers back on the payroll. She's angry about that. And why would you be angry about that? So she says now George W. Bush wasn't the wimpiest president in America. I saw the tweet on Twitter. And I know a lot of y'all don't follow Twitter. I do, and I'm on Twitter, by the way. The Ron Kelly Show on Twitter. If you are a Twitter participant and you want to follow me, it's the Ron Kelly Show on Twitter. So anyway, so what happened was now she got upset because Trump put the people back to work, which he should have done. What are you supposed to do? But he knew he was losing. The American people, the polls were coming out, and he's a poll monster. And the polls were coming out, and the people were saying that Trump was the problem. They were saying that Trump was the problem. It was his fault. That's what they were saying, that it was his fault. So, what happened was he relented because his people told him he was losing, and the American people were blaming him. So he relented, and he went on and put the people back to work. So that's the best thing he's done since he's been president. I think that's the best thing he's done. That's the most noble thing that he's done, is put those people back to work. Because those people needed to go back to work. They needed to go back to work. You got these folks, 800,000 folks. These folks, again, it's hard to save money. It's hard. Unless you got a 401k or something you can get your hands on in an emergency, it's hard to have $3, $4, $5, $6, $10,000 sitting in the bank doing nothing. That's very difficult to do. unless you live with somebody and you share all the bills and all, which I know people who do. They live with their siblings or whatever, and they share responsibility. And it's not so hard on them. So yeah, you can save that kind of money. And if you make good money in the first place and you live with somebody, you can say, "Well, I don't live with anybody. I live by myself." I have more than one car, a motorcycle, all of this stuff. So every bill that comes through my door has my name on it. Car insurance, rent, cell phone, cable, credit cards, car insurance, you name it, motorcycle insurance, you name it, so there's nobody helping me. So it's very, very difficult for me to save money unless it goes through my 401k. So so I think it's wrong for them to use the American people, not those people were Trump supporters, a lot of them. And see, he knew that. He knew that a lot of those folks were Trump supporters and that he would lose his base if he didn't do something. So shout out to Nancy Pelosi who scored the knockdown. Maybe not the knockout. She didn't score a knockout, but she definitely scored a knockdown when she has won round one of the championship bout, the Trump versus Pelosi, the championship bout. Last portion of the show, which we're coming up on, it's about 28 minutes before the hour. I'm going to talk about, and I missed out on this last week. I apologize to the folks. I did say I was going to talk about Jamel Robeson versus Xander Xavier. Jamel Robeson versus Xander Xavier. I'll tell you about that, what that means in the final segment of the Ron Kelly Show. Shout out to Juan Anderson, the credit guru who came onto the program last week. Juan Anderson, the credit doctor, board certified, or should I say, he's a certified credit consultant, Juan Anderson, who came on the program last week. And look him up on, you can Google him if you need his help. You can Google Juan Anderson on Twitter. Not Twitter. You can Google Juan Anderson on Google. And you can Google him and you can find out what information you need about Juan Anderson, who is the credit guru, the credit doc. Juan Anderson, who was gracious enough to come on the Ron Kelly Show last week and posted about it on LinkedIn. So thank you, Juan, for your time. And, and hopefully I may need you one day. So, yeah, maybe so. So, yeah, so it's open for now. The negotiating is on between the Republicans and the Democrats, trying to craft a bill that will be make everybody happy. Now I feel bad for the federal workers. Now they're supposed to get all their back pay and everything. And hopefully it happens. If it's in the next 2 weeks before the shutdown part 2 comes about, because both sides are still, Pelosi is still saying no wall and Trump's still saying no deal without a wall. So the impasse is still on. And, I feel bad for the federal workers who have to live with this every day and wonder whether they're going to get a paycheck at the end of the week. So the Ron Kelly Show will probably be on Periscope next week, and may not be on Facebook Live because I only have 2 computers. So unless I can figure out a way to get on to go on all 3, Periscope, Facebook Live, and the YouTube channel. But if I cannot, then the Ron Kelly Show will move over to Periscope next week. So it won't be on Facebook Live next week. You got to move around. You got to tap into different audiences. I see different people over there who don't do shows on Facebook like I do. So I'm gonna investigate that, and probably next week. I'll post about it. If those of you who care, I'll post about it. I'm going to probably run the show from YouTube, from my YouTube channel, and from Periscope. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Periscope. But yeah, so that's probably what's going to happen for next Thursday on the Ron Kelly Show. We're still talking to WPAT 9:30 a.m. in New York. station that covers the entire tri-state area. We're still talking with them. But you got to have a budget, though. Got to have a budget. So anyone who wants to advertise, if you don't have a lot of advertising dollars, you want to advertise on the Ron Kelly Show, it's the Ron Kelly Show at gmail.com. It's Ron Kelly Show at gmail.com. There are lots of innovative ways. And I wouldn't say cheap ways, but cost-effective ways of advertising on this program. I went to school for broadcasting, so yeah, I know something. So, shout out to my people at the Connecticut School of Broadcasting, my alma mater. I graduated from 2016. The Connecticut School of Broadcasting is a good place to learn this business if you're serious, because there's no student loans you got to pay, because it's not college, it's a school. Okay, so got a few minutes left of the program. Take a quick break. We'll come right back with more of the show. In case you don't know, it's the Ron Kelly Show. And it's on blogtalkradio.com and RonKellyShow.com.
The views expressed in this commentary are not necessarily those of the Ron Kelly Show or R. Kelly Media LLC.
Coming to the stage is a really funny guy. Y'all know him. Put your hands together. Give it up for George Wilborn.
Why don't we go to the doctor? My uncle called, speech all slurred, complaining his arms numb. He calls everybody under the sun. Peyton, his old army buddy George. He even called my daughter Tierra, because, she's got a year of nursing. Everyone thinks he needs to go to the doctor, including me. So he said, well, will you take me? I'm like, I'm on the road. He goes, I'll wait. Stroke's no joke. If you or someone you love have symptoms of stroke, don't call family. Don't dial a friend. Don't wait. It may be too late. Dial 911. Time loss is brain loss. Seriously, dial 911.
Learn all the symptoms of a stroke at strokesnojoke.org. That's strokesnojoke.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Some statistics are surprising. Some are unbelievable. And some are simply unacceptable. Right now, nearly 30% of U.S. students aren't finishing high school. Nearly 30%. And that's the average. In many places, it's even higher than that. And fixing it is a responsibility that we all share. This is President Obama, and I urge everyone, not just parents, but friends and neighbors and family members, to take responsibility for encouraging the high school students in your communities, to support them, challenge them, push them a little, and do whatever it takes to help them make it through. Because this is one statistic we simply can't afford to ignore.
You can do your part by going to boostup.org and sending an email, a text message, or even a wake-up call to a student at risk of dropping out. Go to boostup.org and provide the boost that's needed to make it to graduation. A message from the U.S. Army and the Ad Council.
All right, we are back. It's the Ron Kelly Show, and it's on blogtalkradio.com and RonKellyShow.com. Shout out to Sharon Allen Chambers, my sister. Your package is on the way, Sharon Allen Chambers, who is the first recipient of the Ron Kelly Show prize pack, which includes a polo shirt, just like this one. And this is nice. Yeah, ain't that nice? That's very nice. Nice polo shirt, just like this one with the Ron Kelly insignia emblazoned on it. Then there's an ink pen, Ron Kelly Show. There's a keychain with the Ron Kelly Show emblem on it, and a tote bag. I know the guys don't really carry around tote bags. Well, most of them anyway. But anyhow, there's a tote bag, there's a keychain, there's an ink pen, there's a polo shirt just like this. Headed straight to you, Sharon Allen Chambers. Thank you for being such a great listener, such a loyal listener to the Ron Kelly Show. And we'll be choosing people at random to receive the same package. So welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. It's the Ron Kelly Show, and it's on blogtalkradio.com and RonKellyShow.com on YouTube to my right, the YouTube channel, the Ron Kelly Show YouTube channel, and on Facebook Live, it's right in front of me where all of y'all can see. Okay, so Jussie Smollett. I mean, I talked about Jussie Smollett earlier. I will get back to the shout out to Osman Shabazz, who trolls me like nobody's business. Jussie Smollett. I talked about Jussie Smollett a little bit earlier. Ladio wasn't here, so I'll revisit it. Jussie Smollett. And, most folks who I've talked to are kind of suspicious. They're not drinking the Kool-Aid. mean, some people are guzzling it down like Jim Jones, the Jim Jones Kool-Aid. But I'm not convinced that anything actually happened to Jussie Smollett. Or at least I don't think that I don't think that what they're saying happened. In other words, I mean, maybe something did happen to him, but I'm not 100% convinced that those are the circumstances. Shout out to Osman Shabazz, who says Jussie's a liar. I wouldn't go that far, Osman Shabazz, to say he's a liar, because I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't see it. But I will say that I'm basing my opinion on facts of the case, what I know about it. And what I know about it is that they had Make America Great Again hats on, which is, I mean, both of them had them on. They just seemed so contrived. And then you had the noose. They put a noose around his neck. Why didn't they choke him or drag him or do something to him? The MAGA hat and the MAGA hat, Make America Great Again, the Trump campaign slogan or whatever, and the noose are both symbols of Republicans, for example, or conservatives. And then you have the LGBT quotient, the LGBT component in there too. So you have a gay person who's black. It gets attacked by two white guys. It just seems so contrived. I'm not 100% convinced that Jussie Smollett was, if what he says happened actually happened. I'm not 100% convinced of that. It just doesn't sound kosher to me. It just doesn't sound right. That shout out to Bunny McKnight, who said it sounded fishy. Again, I wouldn't say that he's a liar, Osman Shabazz, but I will say, based on what I've heard about the case so far, I'm not convinced that what he says happened to him. All right, 18 minutes before the hour, everybody. It's the Ron Kelly Show. And it's on blogtalkradio.com, the RonKellyShow.com. Freezing frosty outside. It's very, very cold. But if you have a place to live, you have a place to go to. Be blessed. Be grateful that you have a domicile, a place to go. Like right now I'm here in this heat and light and TV and everything else, food, whatever the case may be. So let's try to remember the folks who don't have. Shout out to Alonzo Kelly. Let's shout out to the folks who don't have. We know it's cold. We knock it off, everybody. I know it's cold. It's cold. It's fine. Nothing we can do about the cold, but just stay away from it, like the weatherman's been saying. Chicago, 56 degrees below zero wind chill. 56, can you imagine that? 56 degrees below zero. Now, fortunately, we have vehicles, and hopefully a good one, because if you don't have a good car right now, it's not going to start. Thank God I have two good ones. But anyway, so it's very cold, and we know that. But thank God you have a place to go. So pray for the people out there who don't have a place to live. Whether they're crazy or not, whether they want to be out there or not, that's not the point. Pray for those folks who are out there in the frost, in the frozen tundra, especially in Chicago. Oh my God, it's about 6 degrees here. And the funny thing about all of this is going to be on Tuesday, it's going to be 55 degrees. You're going to want to break out your shorts on Tuesday of next week. So today is Thursday. So, and Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. In 4 days, it's going to be 55 degrees. So think about that. Think about that. It's going to be 55 degrees in 4 days. And right now it's like 4 degrees. It's a frozen, frostbitten America right now. I know people who live in Florida, it's about 58 degrees. I take that right now. I'll take that 58 degrees. Anyway, here in New Jersey, I think it's around 4 degrees, if I'm not mistaken. And so everybody just knock it off. Because, it's cold, it's cold. It's going to be cold. Chicago, it's -1. West Palm Beach is 65 degrees. I'll take that. And Atlanta is 45 right now. So for Super Bowl Sunday in Atlanta, Super Bowl Sunday in Atlanta is going to be 60 degrees. in Atlanta, it's going to be 60 degrees for Super Bowl Sunday. 60 degrees, yes, in Atlanta on Sunday. Right now, it's 45. Here in New York, it's 15 degrees. 15 degrees. But it's going to be 60 degrees for the Super Bowl. They can play that Super Bowl outside. It's going to be in Mercedes-Benz Superdome, which is it's going to be an indoor program. So I believe it's going to be raining on Super Sunday. And I'm not going to anybody's house to watch Super Bowl. I've been there, done that. They'll go to somebody's house, watch Super Bowl, especially if there are a lot of people there. And you get up and go to the bathroom, come back, and your seat is gone. I just hated that. So I don't know if I'm going to anybody's house for the Super Bowl. Not this year. Maybe I'll go to my own house. Shout out to Osman Shabazz, who says, in reference to Jussie Smollett, who was the actor, I'm not going to say the gay actor or the black actor. He's an actor on the TV series Empire that airs on Fox. And shout out to Osman Shabazz, that says he is absolutely lying. He supposedly is strolling to Subway in 40 below zero weather in the biggest gay and white section of Chicago. And happens to meet two white guys wearing MAGA hats with a noise in their pickets. I'm not sure what that means, shouting, "This is MAGA country." He also changed his story, as he initially did not bring up MAGA crap when he talked to police. He also refuses to give police his cell phone to see who he was talking to that night. He's a piece of crap liar. That's Osman Shabazz. And, and I did hear that, Osman, that he did, there was some skepticism, maybe not about the police, but he created skepticism because he didn't want to give out his, there was some stuff or noose in their pockets. Okay. Well, how did he know there were nooses in their pockets? Did they put them around his neck? How do you know they had, what good is a noose if it's in your pocket? But anyway, so yeah, there was he did change his story. I did hear that too. The story got changed. But a lot of people jumped on the bandwagon. Especially some of the stars of Empire jumped on the bandwagon. And you see a lot of folks on Facebook, people that I know, some personally who drank the Jussie Smollett Kool-Aid. I did, because I'm just suspicious. And a lot of folks that I've talked to, shout out to Bunny McKnight, who was here earlier, who says it sounds fishy. And it does sound fishy. It does sound fishy, So because there's too many, it's just too contrived. MAGA hats, nooses, gay slurs. I mean, that's the Republican, that's the radical Republican, that's a radical Republican field kit right there. The MAGA hat, racism, and anti-gay slurs. That's it right there. That's what they do. So, right. Shout out to Osman Shabazz, who says it's too perfect a story against Trump. Right, and I believe that. I believe that. MAGA hats. I mean, come on. Who are you wearing a MAGA hat for? Chicago is one of the most democratic strongholds in America. The hometown of former President Barack Obama, and and the mayor is former Obama chief of staff Rahm Emanuel, and it's a democratic city. It just doesn't sound right. It just doesn't sound right. And so I think that all those folks, they're probably going to be eating cheese 11 minutes before the hour. I think a lot of those folks are going to be eating cheese because it is too perfect a story against Trump. It is. I definitely agree with that 100%. So I finally agree with you, Osman, for once. So we need to mark this date down. It's January 31st, 2019. I agree with Osman Shabazz. Probably won't happen again for another decade. If I'm still around in a decade. But anyway, so yeah, the Jussie Smollett story just is a little fishy. It's a little fishy. Shout out to Osman Shabazz, who once again says he only had a little cut under his eyes if his baby niece. Oh boy. boy, oh boy. All right, Osman, I get it. I agree with you. I agree with you that something is wrong with this story. There is something wrong with this story. All right, so it's about 10 minutes before the hour, everybody. It's Ron Kelly Show. And it's on blogtalkradio.com, the Ron Kelly Show .com. All right, so there's a lot of folks, again, there's gonna be a lot of folks who are gonna be eating crow or whatever you call it when it comes out that this didn't actually happen, or that it didn't happen the way Jussie Smollett said it happened. But a lot of folks jumped on the bandwagon, a lot of stars, and they're going to be walking their comments back when they find out that it's just so contrived. It's like something you tell your mother and you come home late, when you come home after curfew. We used to think of those crazy stories to tell our parents. That's kind of what it sounds like. You want to pile it on and make it sound good. And that's what it sounds like. It sounds like a crazy story, like what we would do. A crazy story like what we would do if we stay. Remember you stay out late? I mean, I don't know about y'all. I remember I used to stay out past curfew. We had a curfew. And you had to be home by a certain time. So if you're going to stay out late, you better have a really good story. I mean, she didn't believe me anyway. But if you're going to stay out late, you better have a really good story for your mother to tell your mom when you got home. You got to have a real doozy of a story. Like there was an earthquake and the ground split in half and you couldn't jump to the other side. I mean, it had to be a real doozy. So my mother didn't go for it anyway. Sometimes she was just too tired to beat me. And me thinking I got over, but I didn't. But anyway, in any case, that's what this story sounds like. It sounds like one of those crazy stories you tell your mother when you come home late from school, or you come home past curfew. You should be home at 10. You get there at 12 because you got to make up a good lie in order to try to save yourself from getting save yourself from trying to get beat up, from getting beat by your parents. Osman Shabbat says, I hope they lock him up when he's proven a liar. I guess that's what he's saying. The FBI is well. No. That I don't agree with. Because how many folks have lied on how many people have been exonerated by the Innocent Project and some of these other advocacy groups, law students who are researching some of these cases where the black defendant was railroaded into a long, lengthy prison sentence by the criminal-minded justice system in some cases. So no. How many white folks have been proven? Who did the girl go to jail who lied on the Duke lacrosse team? Did the girl go to jail who lied on the linebacker from the University of Georgia who spent 6 years in prison? Did the lady who lied on Emmett Till? Emmett Till was beaten. It's the worst beating in the history of mankind that he received, and the woman had lied on him. Did she go to jail? No. So why should he go to jail? He should not go to jail. Osman Shabbat says, in that case, no one should be locked up if they are. But I agree with that. Well, depending on what the real story is, and it looks like he may have been culpable in all this. Maybe he was howling at somebody and they didn't like it. Maybe he misjudged. Maybe he tried to take somebody home and he misjudged. Allegedly. Maybe he tried to take somebody home and he misjudged who he was talking to. And they snapped on him. But yeah, it seems a little contrived. Anyway, so we keep our hopefully he'll be okay. I mean, I don't want anything to happen to the young man. So hopefully he'll be all right. So shout out to the folks who to the government workers who are back to work now. I know that a lot of them listen to this program, and I've heard from some of them on the Ron Kelly Show. So shout out to you guys. Hopefully the government, the Republicans and the Democrats will come together and iron this thing out. Nancy Pelosi scored a knockdown, not a knockout, but Nancy Pelosi scored a knockdown because Trump caved in. And Trump caved in and relented and put those people back to work and began paying them, which he should have done. That's the noblest thing. That's the noblest thing that Donald Trump has done since he's been president, probably in his whole entire 70-something years of life. That's the noblest thing he did. He relented. He said, you know, we need to put these people back to work. And he put the people back to work. He started paying the people because he knew it was the right thing to do. And that's rare. Maybe he had a Parkinson's moment, but that's rare for Trump. And yeah, he will. Osman Shabbat says he will declare national emergency. Of course he will. I mean, it's going to be tied up in court for years, but this way, there's no, he can crawl out, he can come out of it looking decent. You know, he can save face. And this is all what Trump wants to do. He wants to save face. So he'll save face. He'll save face by declaring a national emergency and trying to have the United States armed forces build this thing. So he'll be safe. He'll save face. So who cares? You know. So the main thing is, no matter, you know, it's not about who wins. The government, the government workers are supposed to win because they're the ones that are suffering at the hands of all of this. I'm not saying that Pelosi's right. Well, actually, she is right. I like Nancy Pelosi. She's got balls. Some Trump doesn't have. Trump has nerve. You know, Trump has nerve. He is different between having nerve and having balls. Trump has nerve. You know, Osman Shabbat says prison reform was nobler, but you won't give him credit. Of course I do. I give him credit for that. I give him credit for prison reform, but who got released as a result of it? Who got released? How about criminal justice reform? So they don't go to jail in the first place. No. Prison reform, it's nice. But it's after the fact, after people are already in jail. You know, Mr. Osman Shabazz, people are already in jail. What about criminal justice reform? What about giving people decent lawyers instead of overworked, underpaid public defenders who could care less about your future? You know, how about reforming the criminal justice system? I mean, the state of New Jersey just enacted a law that the Attorney General for something's happening to my video here right now. It might go out. The Attorney General will be the one who will investigate police-involved shootings from now on. So no local prosecutor will, because the prosecutors and the prosecutors and the police departments work too closely together. The prosecutors, the local prosecutors and the police departments are working too closely together. So kudos to Governor Phil Murphy, the state of New Jersey, who has enacted a law, who signed a bill into law that says that only the Attorney General Gruber Graywall, who's the Attorney General of the state of New Jersey, he's going to be the only one, or his office will be the only entity that will investigate police about shootings from now on, which I think is a good thing. But that was done by Phil Murphy. It wasn't done by Trump. I mean, I give Trump some credit for what he did, but nobody's getting out of jail because of it. You know, I mean, he let somebody out of jail because, because one of the Kim Kardashian went up there and showed her big booty.
90 seconds.
And he fell for it. And he let somebody out. But I mean, yeah, I'll give him credit for that. But nobody got out of jail, Osman. How about criminal justice reform, not prison reform? Prison is after the fact. Criminal justice reform would be before the fact. So if he wants to do that, I'm all in. If he wants to do criminal justice reform, I'm all in. Look, Kamala Harris, vote for her or don't vote for her. I could care less about Kamala Harris. She's going to lose anyway. She has no chance. So who cares what she did? We're talking about Trump. We're not talking about Kamala Harris. Anyway, everybody, have a great week. Next time I see you, it'll be 48 degrees, 49, 50 degrees. So everybody, be careful out there. And if somebody comes up to your window, you may not want to open it, but you might want to hand them $1 or something if they're out there homeless. They may need a cup of coffee or something. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me, everybody. It's my pleasure to serve you every Thursday night at 7 p.m. on the Ron Kelly Show. So until next week, everybody, take care of yourself and remember to be nice to somebody short, because you never know when somebody's short might have to be nice to you. Take care. We'll see you next week. I'm out.
10 seconds. Thank you for using Blog Talk